Gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It is 222. Looks like 555 from that angle. It's 222 on the 22nd of February, 2024. It's Uncle Makara. I'm here to help you heal and bring you from a state of fear to a state of flow. Today I want to speak about fear in your spiritual practice, okay? And when you first begin your spiritual process or spiritual practice, or even if you've just started improving on yourself in the personal development realm, and you might have come across some certain ideas like, oh, let me do a little bit of research on this, let me do a little bit of research on that, right? And you start delving into very, very intricate spiritual practices, perhaps you're following a path working, perhaps you're associated to a specific type of religion, or maybe you grew up in a specific type of environment. But now you might be getting certain fear in working with the occult, working with spirituality, working with the esoteric, okay? If you understand some of these universal laws and principles, they actually help you deal with the fear, okay? They help you deal with the fear. So understand that your fear is a call to action. Fear is a way for you to lean into your greatest self. You can forget everything and run, or face everything and rise, F-E-A-R, okay? And yes, perhaps you're dealing with spirits that you haven't worked with before. There's a feeling of uncertainty or apprehension, or a feeling of anticipation. Something bad might happen, right? That's what happens in anxiety. We go into the future and we think, what might happen? What terrible thing might happen to me, right? You might be going, maybe this is a little too much. I'm not ready for this. And you're procrastinating on your spiritual growth. Maybe it's a fear of success. I mean, what if you can't handle that success? You might have been doing spirituality for years, but never getting a droplet of results from it. But that tells you the way you've been doing it is ineffective, right? Effectiveness is the best measure of truth. If it works, if it gets you results, you move forward with it. If it doesn't get you results, there's something off with it, right? Something needs to be tweaked. Something needs to be altered. Something needs to be refined. Something needs to be approached differently from a different perspective. Okay? So you can watch this and get offended by it. It's only helping you to self-reflect and heal and grow, right? If I trigger you, good. Okay? At least you're being alert about these concepts. You're bringing awareness to it. And for that, I commend you. For your expression, I commend you, okay? Now, I know you didn't mean to click on this video initially, but you were led to it by the Primal Sutra deities, okay, that we work with. When I started to believe in myself, started to believe in my own power, started to believe in gaining a spiritual confidence, and that comes through spiritual experiences. You know, you go through the rungs of the ladder, you push through, you have consistency with your practices, okay? You don't dabble on and off with it. You make the meditation or the prayer or the breath work like a metaphor for your life. You see, it's a mindful way of living. It really taps you in. Of course, when speaking about fear, we must speak about the one who is beyond fear. Kalabhairava, okay, and his energy. Listen, you understand how Shiva, right? He has a snake around his neck, depicting the fear around his neck. He's conquered fear. He's gone beyond it. And so symbolically, as you wear a pendant, a necklace, some beads, some rosaries around your neck, what does it depict? I'm a spiritual being first. I'm a human being later. You see? I'm a spiritual substrate being first, the Brahman. Then I am the human being, the humanoid, okay, being later. And again, you don't have to agree with me here, but this is just my perspective, okay? Take it or leave it. People try to take it all the way and they go extreme into the dark side, but that's where you get dangers happening, maybe possession happening, different things happening like this. So of course, have spiritual protection and ask your guides to protect you, right? Ask for guidance because it is out there, but you're not asking for guidance. You think, oh, I can do this all by myself, okay? I can do everything by myself. The circle is your third eye. You're the King Solomon ring. But understand, right? King Solomon owned these demons. So to understand that you have demons internally, if you tap into the spirit of the magician, he's the one that can contain those energies. Similarly, the way that Padmasambhava, he uses this kind of wrathful being, you could say it's kind of demonic in a sense, but it's a wrathful being, as a protector of the Dharma. You see what I'm saying? So it's very interesting when we look at that aspect, right? If you understand the first law of mentalism, does anybody know? Comment down below. What is the first law of mentalism? All is mind. Whenever I face fear, I notice, first of all, it's a sensation in my body. Okay? It's a feeling of adrenaline, feeling uncentered, maybe feeling scattered. And I just need to ground that fear down. Okay, wiggle my toes, clench my feet, kind of change my posture, start breathing a little bit deeper into my belly. I ground myself. I come back to my center of power. As KRS-One once said, do what you want with this body. I am not here. Okay, so if you're ever going through pain, let those words free you up right now. You are a spirit. You are not the body. You're identified with the body, so therefore you're also identified with the pain that your body carries. Ego does not understand your expanded consciousness. It can see nothing beyond what? The self. So my advice is, don't try to use your ego to circumnavigate a way for you to release the fear. Just release the fear. Just, you know what to do, right? When you're frustrated, you start grunting. When you're sad, you start crying, right? You know how to release it, but you're just holding it in. And unprocessed gunk or emotions, it might start to perpetuate, okay? Now, a lot of this stuff can also come from trauma. So definitely get, care from a healthcare practitioner if you are struggling with, actual fear and, generalized anxiety and so forth. But for that mild anxiety, and this is what I've gone through in my own life, right? I've gone through panic attacks. I've gone through, really focusing on the darkest parts of my soul, which eventually led me down this path, It was like a portal jump for me to lean into this stuff, because as one of the Akashic healers that I worked with, Heather, told me I was meant to be actually a demon slayer. Right, that was my name in the astral. That was my name in the Akashic. That I'm the master alchemist. I can transmute these lower energies into higher frequencies, and that is my gift to this world. That's why I can reframe things. I can use cognitive behavior therapy, but I can also, I've done it so many times that now I have a more crystal clear perception of what I truly desire and who I am, and starting to gently lean myself into the process of the fear, like holding fear. You remember I said a few videos back, you are my peer, my fear. Okay? I am beside you. You're not behind me. You're not in front of me. I'm not locking eyes with you, so I'm terrified of backing down from you. I'm here to take the smallest path towards you, even if it means taking one step. Okay? So if you're afraid of, jumping in to a pond or whatever, you put in one toe, right? A little pinky toe, and then you put in 2 toes. Then you put in maybe all your toes. Then you dip in maybe your entire foot, right? And you start going with that. And eventually you'll be in the water, right? And so I used to really hold this immense fear because I had a drowning incident when I was younger. But look at this, right? All these water themes in my life now, because I'm a land swimmer. I was never meant to be in the water, right? That's a powerful reframe that I just did, but it's for my core wound space. You guys get that? So I went deep into almost using the trauma as a propeller towards my higher consciousness rather than a fighting with it. right? Creating more resistance internally. You see, all of this experience is just the self seeing the self. All, projections. We grasp our truth through ego, right? It's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be. But if we challenge the misconceptions and the illusions, we start to gain our power back. Guess what? When you drop that heaviness, that dense heaviness of the ego, you feel as light as a feather, man. I'm telling you. You surrender into the now. The explosive, dense strength of this three-dimensional form doesn't allow you to really feel the nature of creation, which is lightness, illuminated beingness. So think of fear as a gateway towards a spiritual initiation. Once you overcome that, you face everything and rise, boom, it's going to shift, right? You're going to have timelines as soon as you overcome that fear. Because on the other side of that fear is evolution. It's transformation. Okay? It's some new lesson that you can integrate. But can you stand at that gate with the flawless courage of a child? You guys get that? Like a child is so free and liberated in its beingness. It's just running around playing, laughing at things, expressing itself. But then an adult says, get down from that table. Don't do that. Don't do this. You can't do it like that. What if? And then other people's opinions start to shape what? Your identity. And it starts to cause restrictions within the self. Don't try to wield your fear so much. Just try to diminish it. Release. Let go, let go. Purify, purify. All power that arises from your own conscious experience of the now. You're actually a very immortal, omnipotent being, but you don't know it. You're in this human disguise right now. Okay, you're a god in training, goddess in training, right? You're on this internship right now, where you're going through these, extra credit level classes or something, right? Maybe you're actually taking extra credit classes, but I'm talking about more like a metaphor of life. You get what I mean? Like, oh man, are you kidding me? Another challenge, right? Oh, my spiritual journey is going so well. You guys saw that meme? Shadow work emerging. Okay? We want more people to activate into these teachings, join the tribe. Because more people need to know about this and hear about this stuff, man. Nobody else is really delving and talking about this at this level, because it's such a unique perspective through my own lens and through what I've taken a risk for. You guys get that? That's the beauty of this thing. Like, I dropped everything to, do this deity work and channeling work. Like, what is going on, right? It's like, is there an awakening happening? Is there something emerging, right? That's what it feels like. And so I'm going to be following the guidance of my highest excitement and heart and activate my aura, my prana, my kundalini to the level of where it most needs to go and be. If you understand what's going on right now, there is going to be a worldwide kundalini awakening this year, I believe, where the dragon souls are emerging back. And if you don't know what I just said, that's completely valid, completely fine. That may be too esoteric for you to delve into right now. But if you are interested in little things like that, and that, it's like this is like that, it's like that, and my advice would be join the Adepts program, okay? Very simple. You can do a one-time investment to try it out for a trial period, or you can just sign up for the subscription every month, where I provide you with resources, tools. We also have secret channelings that only Adepts have access to, and you can ask more formulated questions. It's almost like having me in live connection. So today is a 2-2, 22 energy, feminine healing. Okay, feminine healing. So I've asked the feminine deities that we connect with at Primal Sutra. By the way, all the deities that we work with are connected to peak performance or flow state in some way. Okay, that's at least how I choose to experience it. Ryan G, of course, has his own deities, and you might have your own team of, spirit team, and you're not even aware of it, right? You feel misunderstood, you feel boxed in. People are going to call me crazy. I can't come out like this. What are people going to think about me? Listen, everything to gain, nothing to lose. That's the mentality. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. What do you have to lose, really? You're going to lose your identity, okay? Your identity is constantly shifting, And if you really choose to delve into a new identity, that's going to cure your deep, dark, patterns that are just hidden or stacked or making you behave in a certain way that's, out of alignment, basically out of alignment with your truest self. So what can fear do, man? Fear can only fear. Okay? Fear can only fear. Straight up. That's its potential. It can only scare you. It's like the boogeyman, okay? And if you are scared enough or in that fear frequency, you will be manipulated and controlled by others very easily. They'll sway you around like puppet strings. So what do? You remain in love. You remain in oneness. I remember, actually, I had a lesson, and I learned this from my mother, amazing lesson. I was struggling with like some abundance block that I was going through, like not really getting it from this bank. And then I tried so many times to do it. My mom just said, you can do anything that you put your mind to, instead of worrying about it, try doing this. And then I gave her that same lesson back when she was complaining about something. And I said, raise it into a higher vibration, right? Look at it differently. Instead of being angry at the bank, I sent them a huge blast of love, just a pew. And it was pure, it just felt good. It was the opposite frequency of that fear. And it just amplified, man. And it was so beautiful because just something as simple as that can really tap you into a different energy, man. Do you understand that fear has followed you throughout your lifetimes and has begged you to forsake your truth, right? It's begged you. It's been like, don't do that. That's too much. What will people think of me? My reputation, my status. Am I gonna get canceled? Am I gonna have something bad happen to me? Am I gonna get locked up? Won't let me out. Okay? There's so many things that could happen to you. But to focus on that is a disaster in the mind. That's chaos. Choose. Stand knowing what is next. Don't bring fear into your spiritual practice. You know why? Because you're going to create these illusory resistances for yourself. You're going to do a ritual, mess it up somehow, and the candle's not burning, right? Some accident. Then you stop doing it. But it was your own creation. It was your own state of mind being reflected through the experience of that manifestation. The best thing to do is stay neutral. When you remain neutral, you are open to receiving. You see? When you remain in that neutral state of manifestation, that 0 point, you are open to receiving. So whenever you tap into that fear, you feel like you're constricting and closing in. I just love to expand out, right? I do the complete opposite. And I know that's just like maybe it's a temporary relief or whatever you might call it, right? But in that moment, I know the way that my state is shifting is moving me and creating some level of momentum over and over again to get to some next level in order to transmute something that's hidden and buried within my consciousness. So this is the cliff. You got to be the fool, okay? Going over the cliff, taking that leap of faith. Faith over the fact. It's like a faith before the fact, a commitment before the result, right? Like someone gives me a new project, is like, yeah, I can handle it. You get it done. You create it on the spot. You do something, right? Even before you try to prove it to the world or find evidence-based, curriculum, you can still embody your greatest version of you and your greatest truth. But it takes just a little bit of faith, man. It just takes a little bit of understanding of the self as within, so without, man. Right? It just takes a little bit of that understanding that all is mind. And if I'm really annoyed or scared by someone or intimidated by someone, they're just a reflection of me. They are teaching me some very valuable lesson in this, school of life, you could call it. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, at least make you understand that animals, guess what they do? They shake off their traumas, right? They just go brrr, and then they're out of there. So we don't use language nowadays like shake it off unless it's a Taylor Swift song, right? However, I want you to really understand that it can just be as quick as you just shaking your body or, getting into a cold shower plunge or something like this, right? It can be very quick and easy, but you got to decide that. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Hit that like and subscribe button. Join the Adepts program. Join the New Zealand retreat. If you watch this far, You better ask about the New Zealand retreat. It's coming up either November, December this year, okay? 2024. Let's get it. Upward spiral. May we never be the same again.